Alright, so a couple of weeks ago, I released a The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly video on the Nintendo Switch Lite's Special Edition systems. If you missed that video, I highly suggest you go ahead and watch that before watching this video, because this video is basically a follow-up to that video, and I'm gonna spoil pretty much everything I talk about in that video, so definitely go ahead and watch that before watching this video. There'll be a card on the screen right now to direct you over to that video, and I'll probably put a link in the description or something as well. But anyways, overall in that video, I was largely critical of the Switch Lite's Special Edition systems, and there were a few reasons for this, but I guess as an overall, I just felt like the designs were largely not very creative and pretty simplistic overall. Ultimately, what I discovered when making that video is the main problem with all of these designs is the front plate, where they're just so bare and so barren in designs. Literally, the only unique pieces of artwork on the front plates of any Nintendo Switch Lite Special Edition systems are on the Animal Crossing editions, where they have that little leaf logo in the bottom right, and the Legend of Zelda Hyrule edition, which has a Triforce in the bottom right. Other than that, there is absolutely no artwork on the front plates of any Nintendo Switch Lite Special Edition system, and I don't know, I just think that's a bit sad. Now, there were a lot of other things I had to say about each of the specific designs, and if you want to hear more on that, I definitely recommend you go ahead and check out the previous video, but that's not what this video is about. I really just want to focus in on this key issue I found, because I really do feel like it was the one issue that was just consistent across every single design, no matter what. And with the Hyrule edition actually coming out this week with the launch of The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, I thought I'd fix it. Call me Nintendo Bob the Builder, because I'm about to fix this thing. Now, before we get into this, I just want to give you guys a bit more context. I do like this design. I think overall, it's very clean, it's gold, it looks nice, and yeah, it does a good job at being a Switch Lite Zelda Hyrule Edition system. However, I only have that opinion when I look at this design in isolation. As I mentioned in my previous video, this design is very similar to the Hyrule Edition new 3DS XL, which is on the screen right now. As you can see, the designs are very similar to each other, which, you know, isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I guess in this case, it rubs me the wrong way, because I feel like not only is it pretty much a copy of this design, but I also feel like it falls short of the previous design, because as you can see on the front plate of the new 3DS XL, you've got that additional artwork across the borders of the outer plate, which I just feel like makes the system look a lot more complete, I guess, compared to the Switch Lite, where it's just got the Hyrule Royal Crest and nothing else. And on top of this, the actual design of the Hyrule Royal Crest as well is far more detailed on the new 3DS XL compared to the Switch Lite, which is basically just an outline of the Hyrule Royal Crest with a triangle pattern on the inside. Like, with the backplate here of the Switch Lite, there is just so much empty space that I feel like could be utilized with some additional designs. And it really didn't have to be anything too crazy. I feel like just a few designs on the far left and the far right of this backplate would have gone a long way to improving what we have here. But with this design I've come up with, I decided to just focus on the front plate, because I feel like that is the biggest area to improve this system. There definitely are things you could do to the backplate to make it better, but the way it is right now is, you know, it's fine. It gets a pass mark from me, whereas the front of the system definitely gets a fail, so I've decided to just focus on the front plate. Therefore, my goal with updating the design of the front of the Hyrule Edition Switch Lite was pretty much just to bring it up to a point where it was better than or just as good as the variation that came before it. Because in that way, I feel like this system kind of has a reason to exist, because it's evolving the previous designs. So, without further delay, this is the Hyrule Edition as we all know and love it, and this is what I've come up with. As you can see, it's really nothing crazy. I've just added a few small details, which kind of aims to just give the front plate of this system a bit more presence. I did try to keep the design minimalistic because I didn't want to overshadow the gold of the system, so I've just added a few small touches, which makes it feel like the front of the system has an actual Hyrulean design to it in line with what the system is meant to represent. In terms of the specific changes I've actually made, I'll just quickly go through them. Firstly, I've made the letters on the A, B, X, and Y buttons gold, as well as the arrows on the D-pad gold. I just feel like that giving these buttons a bit of a gold highlight ties them more closely into the overall design versus just leaving them as black. And I honestly think it just makes the system kind of pop out a bit more when you look at it. This is the Hyrule edition as we know it. Just keep your eyes on the buttons there. And then look at my version. I really do feel like this small change makes those buttons just look so much better. And then literally the only other change I made was having some artwork across the borders of the system, which is taking inspiration from the design of the Hyrule Edition New Nintendo 3DS XL and kind of translates that across to the Nintendo Switch Lite. I think this is particularly effective because, as I mentioned before, it's nice and minimalistic and it doesn't overpower the rest of the design on the system. It just ties into the Hyrule design that they were trying to go for. I also decided to leave the little Triforce symbol as it is in the bottom right because I think that looks fine. So yeah, that is pretty much it for this design. It took me about 30 minutes to come up with this, and I honestly think it looks better than what we're actually getting. So I don't know, maybe everyone else will disagree with me on that, but I honestly think it does. And I guess the overall reason I decided to do this and even make this video in the first place was just to kind of say that, you know, when I'm roasting these Switch Lite systems for not having any cool designs on the front, I really wasn't asking for much. I just wanted to see something on all of these systems that kind of justifies them even being a special edition system, because when you're looking at some of these systems from the front, they honestly just look like regular Switch Lites, and I think that's a bit sad. The point of special edition systems is to actually show off a franchise, a game, or a character, whatever it may be. The point of these things existing is to show them off, and I just don't think the Switch Lite's special edition systems are effective at doing that. So yeah, I don't know. I'd love to hear what you guys have to think about this. Am I still being too harsh on the Switch Lite Special Edition systems, or do you agree with some of the points I had to say in this video? I would love to hear what you guys have to say in the comments down below. Anyways, that's it for this video. There will be a couple of my other videos on the screen right now to check out, and yeah, if you enjoyed the video, it'd be greatly appreciated if you could also hit that like button. That just lets me know that I'm making videos that people actually want to see, so that would also be appreciated. But anyways, I'll see you guys with the next one. Bye bye.